Hey guys, how are you tonight? How are you? Please say hello. I see we've got Pam and Teresa and Joey are chatting there in the chat box. Joey, you're on private. You're sending me a private message. Joey's my fiance. I can say that, right? Anyway, welcome to our Pets Plus live show, our Cool Store feature, our interview with Johnna Devereaux, who will be joining us shortly. We had a little bit of tech problems. Her camera was a little fuzzy, and so we asked her to kind of reboot it all, and then she's going to be joining in with us in just a minute. So I will wait. We'll wait patiently for her. She had to restart her computer. So I want to know though, guys, if you have gotten your issue yet. If you've got, looks like we've got a cord in the way. Let me move that. Move that. Sorry. Joey, if you can hear me, could you come and move that cord? He's also, my fiance is also my tech guy. So if you haven't gotten your issue yet of Pets Plus, this one, make sure you're getting your free copy. You can go to petsplusmag.com to get your free copy of the issue. And the reason that we're all here tonight is because Johnna's Devereaux's store, Fetch, Rhode Island, it was featured as one of the cool stores. And here she's coming on now. So hopefully our internet connection is better. She has to turn her camera on. That'll happen in just a second, I'm sure. Just that cord. Sorry, it was coming in front of the camera lens. Hey, all right, she's with us. Hey. She's with us. So we're here now. There's a little bit of a delay still, but that's okay. We will get through with all the technology challenges that happen. As Tim Gunn says, I love on Project Runway, he always says, we'll make it work. We will make it work. Welcome to the show tonight, Johnna.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, I'm going to have to turn down. Now there's an echo. Okay, we'll make it work. So, Johnna, let me just start by kind of introducing why you're on tonight. You're on because you are a cool store feature, and Pets Plus magazine is having their 4th annual contest where people can, like stores across the country, should apply to be not just featured in the magazine like you are, but also have an opportunity to be like the official title of America's Coolest Store. So if you guys want to sign up for that, you have, there's ads in the magazine too, right? You might recognize this little logo here, but you want to go to, I think it's petsplusmag.com /ACS. All right. So when you go there by the 11th, so that's just one day from now, you're going to get a chance to have some professional advice on how your application was submitted and get an opportunity to make some tweaks if you need to, because then the official deadline is on March 22nd, I think, to get in. Well, this one says March 15th, but I feel like on the website it says March 22nd. Pam's watching and she can confirm, but go later to that website, petsplusmag.com /ACS. Yeah, she said breaking news. The deadline is extended to March 22nd. So awesome. Well, in these episodes of our Cool Store interviews, you guys get to go on a journey with us, the person I'm interviewing and me, to kind of go beyond the pages of the magazine. And we do that because both myself with Pet Boss Nation and Pets Plus believe that we're stronger together, and that it gives our, the Pets Plus readers an opportunity to ask questions that that the magazine couldn't fit in a short little article, right? We're going to spend some time here talking more about Fetch, Rhode Island too. So these shows are for you guys. You can see the chat already over here going. You're welcome to chat there. If questions come up, we'll be pulling them out and answering them either as we go or at the end. And yeah, so I guess we can just go ahead and get started here. So, Johnna, you've opened Fetch Rhode Island in 2014, and you became Rhode Island's only holistic pet boutique and supply store owned by an herbalist and a clinical pet nutritionist. That is really cool.
Yeah, well, technically, I was Rhode Island's first and only holistic pet boutique and supply store, and then I just added the also by an herbalist and a clinical pet nutritionist, because why not, right? It just, separates you a little bit from the rest.
Totally. And I hope that I know actually for a fact that people watching will be inspired by I'm hearing from you tonight. So you have 3 employees now, 3 or 4 employees.
Yes, 3 employees and myself, which is, work all the time.
4.
So
that's right. And your perspective on and the wealth of knowledge in dog nutrition and wellness will really help. I think people get more empowered to make educated decisions as well. About not only their own pets' overall nutrition, but professionally what they can start to offer more as a product mix inside their own stores. Because for you, that's really helped you become a destination, right?
it has, what started out was I really started with making my footprint about only having edibles that are made in the USA. And people started coming in and asking me why. And I was kind of leery at first to bring in my herbal expertise into the pet world, just because I wasn't certain how that was going to be received. New Age has been a thing that's been going on since the late 80s, but it's still relatively new, and herbs are still considered New Age and kind of out there. So I didn't want someone to think that they couldn't take me seriously because I work with herbs or something like that. So I really didn't kind of take hold of that and start incorporating that into my world until I started doing one-on-one analysis with pets that were not feeling well, that had issues. When their vet sent them to me, I kind of, as an herbalist, I had always done it with my own dogs and with my friends' dogs and my customers' dogs. I'm sorry, my employees' dogs, but not my customers' dogs. But then I realized that I was kind of being foolish. And I had this great amount of knowledge and a really wonderful way to help an animal's body heal itself rather than a Band-Aid or an allopathic approach. And that eureka moment happens in business, right? And that eureka moment happened for me. And I was like, Johnna, what are you doing? Why are you not using what you love and what you've been doing for decades to help more animals? A part of that might be because of the idea that we cannot diagnose, treat, right? Those types of things, because you might be acting as a veterinarian, but I've been able to work through that in a way where I am providing recommendations for people to do research on certain products so that they can make a decision if that's a product that they think will help their animal, and then they can come back and buy it from my store, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So for anyone watching who's never heard of an herbalist, can you describe more in detail what that means?
So we work with plants. We believe that plants have have medicine in. Oh, I think I lost you for a second.
Yeah. Nope.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Herbalists are people that are really grounded and connected to earth. And when I look to self-treat, will be the word I'll use for myself personally, I look to plant medicine before I look to chemical approaches that are, pharmaceutical backed or created in a laboratory. Most or all of the medication that we have has actually at some point in time started in a plant that we found in a rainforest or a field somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Are you losing me?
No, I can't. I just am like, I'm just listening. I love it.
Okay. We work with earth, right? We work with what Mother Nature has given us, because she's really provided us with all the tools we need to live in a healthy way. We've just kind of gotten off track a little bit.
Yeah, way off track, I'd say.
Yeah.
but yes. And have you found, and we can talk even more about the herbalist piece later, but I'm just curious, have you found is it a perfect parallel between what works for canines and what would work for people, or are there slight differences with canines?
So the most fascinating part about animals is that they are more energetically available. So they're energy beings and they're more sensitive. So I feel that they are more receptive than most humans to herbal remedies. Now, not all herbal remedies that are good for humans can be translated and applied to animals, just because of different phytocannabinoids that their bodily systems may not be able to handle. But in general, it's what animals do. There's a study in science called zoopharmacognosy, which is the study of animals using plants as medicine. So it's what they do, right? If they were out in the wild and they weren't feeling well, they're going to gravitate towards plants to make themselves feel better. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And I kick myself for not having kind of brought that into the store back in 2014. But since I've incorporated it, it's been really magical and really helpful for a variety of folks and their pets. So
yeah, I bet. So since we're on this topic now, you make your own products for the store too, right?
I do. I'm really picky about what I bring into my store. I think most of us independent store owners are. We have to not only differentiate ourselves from other stores, but when people come through the door, if something they bought in our store makes their pet not feel well, they're looking at the owner in most cases. So we have to be able to stand our ground and explain to them, that we've done our due diligence. And when it comes to herbal products, if I can't do my due diligence and 100% explain to someone with full confidence that the herbs that were grown were done in soil that had no heavy metals, that had no excess pesticides or fungicides or herbicides from prior use, then I'm really doing them a disservice. To get a little bit off topic, when you're dealing with plants, whatever their root system has an uptake from whatever is in the soil. So it's really, really important. And this actually parallels even into the CBD world, right? That everyone's talking about, because hemp is an herbal, it's a plant, right? That you have to worry about where the root system is. So I couldn't find resources that I liked. And some of the companies that I would use personally for humans made blends that didn't work for dogs, because dogs, alcohol is toxic, and one of the extracts that they use to make tinctures for humans is alcohol. So you have to find a different menstruum, which is just a medium used to extract the herbal medicine from the plant. So anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I decided that because I had nothing else to do, that I was going to grow my own organic herbal garden in my house, because I knew what had happened to the soil, how, I knew everything. I had it tested, and I could control in some way the quality of the herbs. So I started growing, harvesting, processing, and creating my own products for my store. And it's been wonderful. I mean, it's my gift is kind of, granted people pay for it, but it's still a gift for me to make it, and for people to come back and tell me how wonderful it's been, that it's helped their dogs heal. So it's very rewarding.
Mm-hmm. What types of products do you have in that line? Like, what solutions or what problems do they solve?
So we don't talk about solving, though we do have solve, but not solving. So I have a soothing solve, which really kind of works with a variety of skin issues. It's good for wound care. It's a really nice blend of like St. John's wort and calendula and chamomile and poke root, like just some really deep medicine that does a really great job at helping the body to heal itself really quickly. I have a paw and snout salve that is a protectant, as well as for those older dogs or dogs that are, especially the dogs that have cancer and are in chemo, that have those really, really, really dry noses. It works really well at kind of keeping it hydrated and lubricated. I have a hot spot remedy that I've come up with, which is kind of amazing, and it works really, really well. And I actually had my first vet ask me if I would make some for her practice, because one of her clients had such success with it. And I have done some herbal rinses. I've been trying to do shampoos, but there's enough shampoos. So I do an herbal rinse, because technically the pH is right for the skin. So right now that's pretty much all I'm doing, but that's all I have the time for.
Yeah. Well, and I put together some of the photos from from the article too, and some of the photos that you sent us, so I can share them now. But I want to know a lot about, here you shared with me previously that you have lived in NYC and you've lived in LA. And so you're this big city girl, and now you have this very colonial style building that was built in 1908 and has some really interesting stuff about the property too. So I'm going to share this photo just so they can really see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it's just so adorable.
A quick little asterisk, right? I grew up in like hick town. I thought I was a big city girl. I thought I was a big city girl until I got to the big city and realized I couldn't go out and like touch plants and harvest plants and start moving things around and forage. And so then I thought LA would be different and it wasn't. So that's why I came home. So I really, pardon the pun, but I kind of came home back to my roots, and it's worked out really well for me. That's my little medicine wheel that I set up for fall, just so that people could have like their little meditation maze with their dog.
Yeah, I noticed that at first. I was like, oh, it's like a little pumpkin patch. And I thought, oh no, it's actually a maze.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I love the big paw prints on the building too. It really, and the bright sign. If you were driving by, you would know there was a business in there and not just, it wasn't just a home. So that's great.
And I have to tell you, those prints actually only went up last year. And they made a huge difference. So it really does. I know I saw somewhere that someone was doing something with Pets Plus magazine about signage. I think it's you, maybe or maybe it was Tracy that's doing something about signage. Yeah, but the paw prints, I put those up last year, and I have had people that have driven by the building stopped because they've seen the paw prints in the rearview mirror and turned around. So it definitely made a big impact to kind of get a little bit creative with the signage.
Mm-hmm.
So
awesome. I'm just hearing now that my audio is messed up. So why don't your audio is coming through great. So why don't we now move on? I want to hear more about these adorable dogs. Well, I'll show you your store too, but let's talk about your pups. They look like they're.
If you can't see them behind me, I'm surrounded by my babies because they're not here physically with me. But on the right is my little ginger pitty is Diego, and my little gray little girl is Lola. They're both rescues, and Diego is really the life changed the entire trajectory of my life. And my father actually said the other day, he said, but even more than myself, your mother, your husband, or anything, Diego has had the biggest impact on your life. So that says a lot coming from your dad. Because a dog can change your life for certain.
It does. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I can now,
yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay? Okay, I know there's a delay. Just wait till just tell me.
And I'm just going to say thank you to Jess Ellis, because I think my dogs are cute too.
So, right. It's just that it's better. My audio is better.
I think it's going in and out.
It's coming in and out. How about now? Am I good now, guys?
There's some feedback.
Is that okay? Feedback.
Better.
Just take it. Let's disconnect. I don't know where it was picking up from before.
Way better.
Okay. Way better. There we go, guys. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes, you get things and you just hope that it works, and you try it and it works and works and works, and then one day it doesn't.
So in the herbal world, we're blaming everything on the full moon and Mercury retrograde. So
yes, everybody's been talking to me about Metro retrograde right now, and for me, I'm like, I don't know what that means, but
it means you're going to have a lot of electronic technical difficulties.
Oh. Well, I guess I should have heard that or made that connection before we jumped on. Awesome. Okay, so we have, because Heather Leonard's like, she has so many questions. There are some great questions about things you've even already said before that, but since I've got these slides up, And I will remind everybody that's watching, if you have questions, to type them in the chat box over there. But part of your property as well has this this garage to it too. Now, where'd my slides go? Here we go. The garage, the 3-car garage, which at first I was like, why are they showing this in the magazine? I thought, oh my gosh, that is where the event space is inside. So this is behind those garage doors.
That is the fetch room.
That's really cool. And then I had to show them, look how, I mean, they're like best buds. They're like best buds.
They're sweethearts. So, the inspiration behind the fetch room really.
So,
the inspiration behind the fetch room really started because my little girl, Lola, my little gray rescue, I rescued her when she was 6.5 weeks old. She was only 2.5 pounds. And I rescued her with the idea that I was really just going to foster her, get her back up to, give her a fighting chance, get her up to weight. So she came to the store with me every day because she was a tiny little peanut. And one day when we were at the store, she was playing with a dog in the store and she got bit on the nose down to the bone. It was pretty horrible. And as dogs usually greet nose to nose, it 100% changed her ability to meet new dogs, especially on leash, without having issues. So Lola and Diego have a great life. Don't get me wrong, right? I do everything for them. And Lola gets to go off leash in our backyard. We go out on, we can go in the woods. But there's been so many people that we've been encountering in the woods that I don't feel safe having her off leash anymore. So I had created, or basically had this idea about the fetch room, which would be a great place for people that have dogs that might have reactivities, sensitivity to other dogs. They may not have a fenced-in backyard. They, may not be able to walk around in the same amount, like if they're elderly people, that I wanted a space that dogs could come and be off leash and just play and have a great time. So what the fetch room is it's a place that people can rent by the half hour or the hour, and they have the entire space by themselves, which people come in and they'll use it for agility equipment, which we have set up there. I mean, not like super agility equipment, but it's fun stuff. The walls are all made out of wood, so it becomes like a racquetball court, so you can play the ball and bounce it all over the place. We have doggy birthday parties. We also have training that occurs there during the week at night. So it's just a great space. And in the winter, when it gets really cold, we have a lot of people renting it because it has heat and AC. Same in the summer or on a rainy day when when it rains for 3 days in a row and your dogs are like have total cabin fever, it's a big hit.
Yes. Well, I just love, it's so creative. It's such a great way to use that space instead of, what many people would do is either put their own, use it for storage probably, right? And so you've really found a way to be unique and help also create a destination, establish yourself even more as a destination as another reason on top of all the great work you do with the herbs. But in addition, now this other really unique space.
Well,
that's great.
And if you think about it from a holistic standpoint, one of the things that I think about, is it's body, mind, spirit, right? And so you have to think about the body being the nutrition aspect of it, the mind being the mental stimulation, and really the spirit is also going to be, physical space, what their environment is. Are they happy? So to me, it just really kind of went hand in hand with each other, that of course I'm going to have a space where dogs can be mentally stimulated and physically stimulated as well in a safe environment, because it's just kind of all encompassing about my holistic idea.
Yeah, I love it. I wish you lived closer to me so I could shop with you. In this store here too, here's a picture here of this amazing party bar, which I have another picture of that too. We'll share in just a second. And so yeah, you've really taken this home, and do you have the whole building? Do you have?
Yeah, upstairs is storage.
Okay.
Because I don't want a person in their Great Dane walking up and down a 1908, stair. The stairs are pitched a little bit differently than they are up to code these days, right?
And so I'm assuming because of the flowers here that they don't come through the front door. They come over here through the side, maybe.
Yes. That's my creative way of telling people go to the other door.
Okay, let's see. Let me pull up this bar here. We'll flip fast forward and get to.
Hold it.
Yes.
Hold it. There it is.
Yeah, everybody wait. Tell us about this magnificent display.
So I called it the party bar because haha, pun right there. It's the body parts, right? So really it is inclusive of a lot of long-term chews. Sorry, I'm not hearing you right now. I think you were asking a question, but it's a lot of great long-term chews as well as freeze-dried. I have the Vital Essential raw bar there. I've also kind of taken the idea and made it greater. So I have a mix and match bar, and this is actually, we've kind of updated the party bar to even get more stuff on there if that's possible. I have found more space to put more stuff, but it's really the whole right-hand side is single ingredient treats, which is really important, I think, in this day and age with so many dogs showing so many sensitivities to things and having so many ailments due to environmental toxins or vaccines or whatever it might be. And then to the left-hand side, we kind of have birthday party stuff, right? So all of our cookies and all of our edibles, like I had mentioned before, are made in the USA. They're all free of soy, they're all free of wheat, and they're all free of corn. I also have gluten-free cookies, but that's kind of free of soy and wheat. It's kind of one and the same, but people like certain words. So that's kind of it. It has grown quite a bit, but it's a huge hit. It actually is a really big moneymaker, having everything in one place so people don't have to look around and walk around. They just sit there and the dogs jump in and the dogs come in and the dogs just sit in front of the bar. So even if they weren't planning on getting a treat, when your dog is sitting in front of the bar barking, you end up getting a treat.
Yeah. Very different from the kids who are screaming at the grocery store and wanting candy, and then the parents are like not going to reward that behavior. But these dogs are like, I will sit very pretty and I will smile at you, and you will buy me what I want.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. And is this bar like on that? It looks like it might be on their way in and out of the shop.
It is. So when you first walk in, it's like a straight away, and it's almost 10 feet into the left, so or maybe 20 feet.
Yeah. Arguments, then you got to pass it again to leave. That's great. So I can definitely understand why it's a big money maker for you. And so here's some of the herbs. So let's go back. So these are the ones you make, right? Over here on the left.
The ones on the left are the ones that I make, and that was actually a little bit shy because I hadn't. I was in between products, making new products.
Okay. And then what line is this over here?
Animal Essentials is the one to the right. They're the ones that I get all of my tinctures from. They single pour single plants for me in vegetable glycerin. So.
Okay. So we've got a few questions here, and I just want to make sure there's a lot of other things that we could talk to you about, and that I told you we would talk about, but because there's so many good questions, I want to make sure that people watching get a chance to get some answers. So, all right. So the first one is, do you use the herbs and plants as, let's see, do you use the herbs and plants as a preventative, or is it after the dog feels sick and needs a cure?
So we don't ever use the word cure with herbs. I think it's really important to always understand that when you're working with plant medicine, the body uses what it needs to heal itself if it needs it. There are a lot of herbs that we use for a preventative. Really, it's more about boosting the immune system when we're using herbs in that capacity to set a dog or a human up for success, to prevent any type of bacteria or viral issue or something like that. a lot of my customers come in and are using it. However, on the other side, where it's more, there's been a problem that has been identified. I'm going to say about 80% of the herbs that I use are really geared towards the GI tract and working with the immune system. Of course, I have a lot of dogs that have been diagnosed with cancer, and a lot of oncologists in the state actually send people to me if the client shows that they want to have, besides maybe doing chemo, also do more of a natural adjunct therapy. So they come to me, and it's just kind of working with the oncologist to make certain none of the herbs that I'm recommending could have any type of impact with the chemotherapy, because chemotherapy really works at oxidizing the cells in the body. So a lot of herbs are really rich in antioxidants. So some can work directly against what chemotherapy is geared to do. So it's not a willy-nilly thing where you just come in and you're like, oh yeah, take this herb and this herb, right? Like, it's just, I need to be very responsible in my recommendations. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That leads in totally into Heather's questions here. So, because Heather's thinking about, or she wants to have a similar type of a consultative type business, and she's worried about the veterinary relationship and being worried about being perceived as practicing veterinary medicine. And so she's curious how you handle that, and then how your relationship is with local vets.
So it is a huge concern to have. I'm not going to lie, and I will share with everyone that I had the state vet come down to my store last year because there was a customer that wasn't happy with the fact that I told them that I didn't think I was going to be able to help them for reasons I'm not going to get into, and called and said that I was practicing medicine, which is a federal offense, right? So it's not something to play around with. So you have to be very careful. I take a lot of notes. I am very specific and careful with my word choice. When you're dealing with a customer, and, it's not like they're just going to come in and you're going to just give them something. Let me back up for a second. If they're walking in the door and they're like, my dog is having diarrhea, right? I ask a series of questions to identify what the potential cause could be. And then I provide them with a recommendation of an herb that might be able to help them with stopping diarrhea. And at the same point in time, I recommend to them that if it was my dog, this is what I would be doing for them. So it's kind of a little bit of a play around, because I'm not directly saying you need this herb and you're going to take it at this rate and you need to do X, Y, and Z. It's more of a, like I said, a recommendation, which is really important. Using the language of, and this is the truth, but it's that the body heals itself, that if an herb is needed, an herb will help the body to heal itself. It'll kind of gear it towards that direction of healing. So it's kind of important that you have paperwork, documentation to back, because otherwise it's just your word, right? If anyone is concerned, it's going to be a consumer saying she's practicing medicine, or a vet saying she's practicing medicine, because the consumer is going to hear you say, well, she recommended I look into this herb, but then go to her vet and say, oh, well, Johnna said that I should give this to my dog and this, that, and the other. And so in the vet ears, the vet is hearing that I'm practicing medicine. So having a really effective and efficient way of keeping records when you're talking to people that you actually have consults with is really going to be important. I always also try to reach out to the vet of whatever client it might be, and just let them know, by the way, I'm meeting with them to look at it from a nutrition standpoint. And there may be some supplements that I'm going to recommend that will help from a nutritional perspective, and also with herbs. And I always open the door that if you ever want to have that conversation, or if you want to know why I'm recommending it, or if you want to see, the reasoning, I would love to be able to share that with you. So I always try to have that one-on-one with the vet. So I'm not relying on a consumer relaying information that I've told them to a vet. Because that sometimes you can clear up a lot with a phone call, right?
Yeah, well, you're being at that point more proactive than reactive. And so that's great. That's really smart. So at what point in that consultation process or that process of meeting that customer and learning the problem, does it transfer to a consult? Because I'm assuming you're charging for those consultations at some point, right? So
yeah, it changes. If I can't address in under 10 minutes a nutritional deficiency, or something that that I can pretty quickly identify as being an issue that needs to be addressed, then I recommend that we go into a consult where I would want to see blood work, not because I'm diagnosing anything, but more because I am looking to see if there are nutritional deficiencies that appear on the blood work, to see if liver enzymes are raised, because that can also kind of gear you towards a different type of diet. See how the kidneys are, again, because that could gear you towards a different type of diet. And then, they sit down, they're signing lots of disclosures, understanding that what my relationship is, what I am, that I am not a veterinarian, that I'm not trying to treat, diagnose, or cure, that, what their expectations are, what mine are. And then we schedule something at a later date. But I am going to say, it's not easy. It's actually one of the most stressful, but at the same point in time, one of the most amazing aspects, because I see dogs. Like I had a dog once. I've had a lot of dogs that have been, people were going to put them down. Oftentimes I'm the last ditch effort, right? Because the vets have tried everything in the world. The vets have given their nutrition information, and then someone hears about someone that has worked with me, and they're like, just go try it. You have nothing to lose. But there was this one specific dog that had at least 5 different vets telling them there's nothing else that can be done, and you have to put this dog down. And within the matter of under 3 weeks, his health completely turned around. And 2 years later, he is so healthy and happy. And his owner still they send me cards, call me, send me pictures. Like, it is the most rewarding thing that I could do. It's giving me goosebumps right now, because it's just such a gift that I'm able to help animals. But it is hard. You're navigating a really difficult road. And I don't want to take away from that, because it's really hard.
Yes. Thank you for being so honest and sharing all of that with everybody.
Yeah.
We can certainly, I think, from a lot of people's perspective too, of even just trying to sell foods that veterinarians don't agree with, that there's been that clash. So I'm sure that they fully understand what you have to go through there.
Yeah. Oh, well, I have that too.
One of the other questions, and I knew this would come up when you were talking about, yeah. When you were talking about your products, I knew this would come up as well. Heather's curious if your products are available for wholesale to independents.
No, and they're a labor of love. And I wish I could, because I would love to be able to share my gift. It's just, my business is my store. And if I went into mass production, unless I found a co-packer, which I probably could, but it's just not where I'm at right now. So who knows, 2021, maybe. I don't know. You never know where tomorrow goes. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? But I have to say, I find it to be
yes. Josette has a question. Yeah, I'm sure that they would be high demand. So especially with the way that you're presenting everything and can talk so confidently about it all, I have no doubt it would be a successful line. All right, so Josette wants to know your opinion on sensory gardens that use herbal plants, but in the physical state. She says that they have them in their outdoor play yards during summertime and long winter. There's a long winter in Quebec for the boarding dogs. Let's see. We are in the process of trying to do them year round indoors.
So I think sensory gardens are fantastic. They work a little bit differently, obviously, than when you're taking herbs internally. But they're, again, going back to what I said earlier, animals are energy beings. I mean, we are too, but animals are really in touch with their energy side, right? Which is why a dog can feel a dog's energy from 10 feet away, and they aren't going to get along and they've never met versus two dogs from 10 feet away instantly know they're going to be friends. They are just energy beings. So plants also have a vibrational energy and medicinal energy. So I applaud you, Josette, for doing that. I think it's great. And I'm sure you've probably seen that it has probably calmed down the dogs and kind of brought the energy to a better place. I mean, think about if you go out into a yard and all you see is dead grass versus if you go out into a yard and you have lavender and you have, roses and you have flowers in bloom, it changes your attitude. And it's the same thing for pets. So I think that's, I applaud you for that.
Yeah, you're making me realize I need to go do some landscaping and gardening this spring and summer. I was like picturing, I was like, yeah, well, I live in Chicago and it's winter. I mean, it's winter where you are too, but I'm like, oh yeah, that yard doesn't look very good right now. And I'm just picturing Clover and Dory, like, going through and smelling. They love to smell, and so they would have the best time.
Yeah.
Okay. Margaret wants to know if your staff are trained to give basic herbal recommendations for the products in your store.
So yes, I've given them beginner knowledge that I feel comfortable with. But at the same point in time, there is a very fine line that I have to impress upon them that if you are not confident in your recommendation, do not say anything. Call me. I will get the phone and talk to the customer, because again, I can't have my staff being portrayed as treating, diagnosing, or trying to cure as well. So a lot of times what I have brought in a book where if someone asks, or they come in, they say there's GI upset, and let's just say for whatever reason, the steps are leading my girls to say marshmallow root, Althea officinalis. I'll say, why don't you go to the book and open the book up to that page and say, this would be something that you might be interested in, and have them read the page from the book itself, so then they can make a decision. And of course, that's just with certain basic herbs. There are so many herbs that I know. There are thousands and thousands of herbs that I don't know anything about. So I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. I don't expect for my girls to know everything. And I say that because I have 3 female employees. I'm not biased for sex or anything. It just so happens I have 3 girls, so I call them my girls. So they do give basic information about basic herbs. But it's very basic, just for just to be responsible, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad that you have a strategy in place for that. Very smart.
Yeah.
Jill wants to know what you think about chemotherapy. Did I pronounce that right?
Is that Jill? Can you clarify if that's working with gemstones? Is that working with gemstones? I don't know what that is.
I'm going to Google it here.
And I hope I don't feel stupid after this.
Yeah, it's a branch, unless I'm not pronouncing it right. It's a branch of phytotherapy that uses tissues of the plant to enhance organ function.
Okay. So that's science. That's more science. No, but that's okay. So that's more sciencey for me. As an herbalist, I am a big advocate of using the plant's full spectrum, all of the plant, whole plant medicine, unless there's a need where you're going to be using only the aerial parts, or if you need to be using only the root parts, or for instance, with nettle, if you have a dog that's been really stressed out and has kind of adrenal fatigue, you'd be using like the seeds only. I am not really about isolating the phytocompounds in a plant, because it has been proven in the herbal world that the phytocompounds of the plants work synergistically to lift all of the other active compounds. So it's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan of CBD isolate products, because you're like losing all of the other synergistic parts of that plant. So I don't know if that answers her question properly. But I'm a big fan of using the full plant. And actually, she just said it's using the bud. So I'm assuming when they're first growing. Jill, if you're talking about when they're first growing, I think plants when they first start to grow are really great for nutrient value, but you need a full grown plant to have the full capacity, the full medicinal capacity from the plant. I hope that answers her question properly. At least for me, right? Like everyone can have their own ideas, but that's the way that I've lived. And in my herbal world and all of my mentors, that's what I've been taught. So.
And Margaret, thank you for referencing Tori's question, because I did miss that one. Tori had asked earlier what your favorite herbal brands are that you carry in your store. And Margaret is just kind of piggybacking off of that, because we did mention the animal essentials, but she's wondering, like, also Margaret's wondering plant-based nutritional supplements. So what brand do you like?
The only other brand that I carry is, hold on, I have to look at it because I always mess up the name, but this is something that people could get. So just, I'll be right back.
Sure, no problem.
It's Wise Ways Herbals. It's actually made for human use, but they have a great ear mullein oil, which is great for ear infections. They also have a lot of single ingredient. It's a great brand. And the reason why I say that is because the woman that founded that is also brilliant. She would be considered a master herbalist in my world. But I don't carry an herbal product just because it's an herbal product. And if for anyone that joined in after, I might have mentioned this, it really comes down to where is the soil, right? Have you tested the soil? Where was the plant grown? How is it harvested? When was it processed? In an herbal world, it's, when you harvest a plant, you harvest it after the first dew, right? So early morning, but not too so the dew is just getting ready to dry. And that's supposedly at the height of the medicinal, where the plant is at its most potent medicinally before you kill it, sadly, right? Or you not kill the plant, but you take the plant that you're going to be using. So I'm hard pressed to find a lot of companies that meet my standards, which is also just to say throughout my store, I have a lot of SKUs, but every product in my store, they have to meet certain standards. I just don't say, hey, this is a great new product that everyone out there is carrying. If I don't like an ingredient, if I don't like a way it was processed, then I won't carry it in my store. And I will be able to tell my customers when they come in saying, do you have this? I'll say no, and this is why I don't, but I have this instead, and this is why. And I 9 times out of 10 will make that sale and have a convert. So I think when you stand your ground and you have a really strong belief system, whether it be with herbs or, choose whatever it might be, people are going to follow you and they're going to trust you, which has really been an important part of my business.
Mm-hmm. That kind of goes to with anything in life, though, really, right? Even as we show how we show up in leaders inside our companies,
integrity is kind of important.
Yeah, yes, and that's one of the things that we thought integrity is very important to you. And so we were going through, a survey that we do with people we interview. We asked, like, what are your best qualities? And yours came back. I love them all, but they also reminded me so much of just core values, like your core value words that we use in companies. And I like that you put integrity first. And same with me. We actually just had a team retreat for Pet Boss Nation after Global Pet Expo. And we, as a team, ran through like what our core values were. And, we as a company all determined that integrity is our number one company core value. So what does integrity mean to you as a leader inside your company?
I mean, it means that you can trust me, that I am never going to sacrifice what I believe in for $1, like ever. It's never going to happen. I mean, I'm honest, and you may not like, or you may not want to hear the response that I'm going to give you, but I'll never be mean, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Because I think we all are owed that, right? I mean, if we all told the truth, imagine how different our world would be. So if my team, and this is, I mean, that's me in a general sense, but especially when it comes to pets, if I lie to a customer, the only being that is going to get hurt is potentially an innocent animal that provides unconditional love. I wouldn't be able to sleep with myself at night if that were the case. So that's why it was the most important to me.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Another one of your best qualities is accountability.
Well, I think so. I'm a woman of my word, and that is really important for my staff. It's really important for my customers. It's important for me that I hold myself accountable. because there are a lot of people, again, you know, we promise a lot and we don't necessarily deliver. And I try really hard, again, just to do what I say. Do what I say I'm going to do. So
Love
yeah.
it.
The last one is my favorite that you're about to say.
Forward thinking.
That's the most fun. Of all of them, that's the most fun. That's the one you can have the most fun with, right? So I'm always looking to what's next. Now, full disclosure, I have a little bit of ADD, but I think every business owner does. So I don't know or every successful entrepreneur has to have a little ADD in order to be successful, right? But I'm always trying to figure out what else I can do. Where am I going to be tomorrow? How can I expand the business? How can I make it better? Because when you settle into a success, I think you start to lose the success. So I am continually chasing the success for my store, myself, my family, my pets. I'm never going to settle, right? So it just keeps me moving forward to see what else I can do. And it translates to my customers that they always know that I'm going to continue to try to get the next, the newest, the best, and do better and better and better with everything that I carry and everything that I do for them. So it's fun.
Amen.
Amen.
I love it. Okay, guys. Well, we are wrapping up our time together now. Johnna, you had some resources. There's some books that you liked that you wanted to share with everybody.
Yeah. So, politics aside, okay, because we live in a no politics zone at Fetch RI. The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump was one of the best books ever. It was probably the book that I read when I was 25 years old that made me become an entrepreneur. And then Business Mastery by Cherie Soen-Mo is also a really great kind of all-encompassing tool for anyone that's in business that they should read.
Yeah. Those are great suggestions too. And two books that I haven't heard. There's sometimes I feel like we keep hearing about the same books oftentimes because they're just so popular and favorites. And so I hadn't heard of either of those. So thank you for sharing those. And for people who want to come visit you, I feel like, and I want to come visit. I mean, like truly, like, so come see you. What's the best way to come to Fetch, Rhode Island? Where's the nearest airport?
Drive to 95. No kidding. So the Providence Airport, and I mean, Rhode Island is the smallest state in the country, so it's not that far. But we're right off of 95. I mean, you can come take a field trip.
I know. Please. I mean, maybe yeah. I'll have to have like a Pet Boss and a Pets Plus field trip. You know, we just actually sold my doggy daycare last week, and we were talking about how. Thank you. It's my third business I've sold in the pet industry, and so I'm really kind of proud of the business that we had built. And I was always laughing about how not laughing, but like saying that, you know, I've always wanted a Range Rover. I think I just want a Range Rover because all the wealthy people in the neighborhood where my store was had Range Rovers. and so I was like, when I sell that daycare, I'm going to buy that Range Rover. And but Joey, my fiance, and I have been laughing because we've been driving with our dogs to all the trade shows, and we just love visiting stores so much that I thought, maybe instead we need to buy a big tour bus and get it wrapped and then go travel around all the stores and trade shows with our dogs. And actually, I'm like way more interested in that.
Yeah, I think that's a better idea.
I think so too. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And congratulations on being a cool store feature. For those of you who haven't gotten your magazine yet, make sure to subscribe at petsplusmag.com to get your free magazine. And if you want to apply to be America's Coolest Store, where you'll get your picture actually on the cover of the magazine, potentially if you win, you have until March 22nd to do that. And you do that at petsplusmag.com/ACS. And if you want to learn more about Pet Boss Nation and what we have to offer, please visit our website, petbossnation.com, or just send us a message and we'll be happy to reach out to you. I see a lot of people watching tonight are our Pet Boss Club members. And that's a monthly group coaching program that helps you thrive in your pet business. And enrollment to the Pet Boss Club opens July 19th. Guys, July 19th is the next time people will be able to join the Pet Boss Club. So that's it for tonight, I guess. Unless Johnna, do you have any like parting words for everybody? Any more words of wisdom?
You know, it's kind of, yeah, do what you love and love what you do. Like, that's it. And success will follow. So I wish all of you as much success as possible, because we independents have to kind of stand together and beat big box and beat the e-commerce. So I hope you all the most success you can have. And thank you very much for having me tonight. And thank you, Pamela and Pets Plus, for letting FetchRI be one of the America's coolest pet stores. It is an honor, and we appreciate it more than you'll ever know.
Yes, and not just to clarify, Pam isn't a judge, so there actually you got
No,
a lot of people.
Yeah. She wrote the article, but she wrote the article and she did a phenomenal job.
She wrote the article.
So
I did write the article. Yeah. We all love Pam. I just want to make sure that people who are applying right now know that there are a panel of judges who do pick the cool store features. And I don't know who they've got. I don't think any of us know who the judges are, because then it'd be fun to like kind of bribe the judges, right? send some flowers and yeah, it would be really fun to be one. I got to be one the very first year they did it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm hoping they ask me again. But I don't know how many years I have to wait.
I don't know, but I've never been asked.
So yeah, Pam does help narrow the.
I've never been asked. Wink, wink. Thank you so much.
Pam's listening and watching.
I know.
Let's do this girl a solid and let her become a judge. Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us tonight. And for everybody else, we will have a second cool store interview coming up very soon with the pet barber. You can see the cute family here. I love this photo. Well, it's probably going to take a second for it to zoom in on that, but they got their whole family with them and kids on top of the car and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll have that date figured out and announced very soon. And Johnna, thank you again. All right. Everyone have a great night tonight.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.